Well, top focus this hour remains to be from the state of Telangana, and in fact, Ram Charan's ardent fans were gifted with his mega game changer. But it was not smooth. Telangana government intervened, halting the plans, citing stricter regulations implementing after the tragic stampede during Pushpa 2 promotions. Authorities prioritize safety over fans' favor. In fact, produced by Sri Venkateshwara Creations, the film will enjoy a grand release across the state, with theatres permitted to screen 6 shows on the opening day, including an exclusive 4 a.m. show. The Telangana government approved a hike in ticket prices as well. The Telangana High Court has expressed strong displeasure over the decision to permit early morning screening of the film. Petitioners although raised objections to the 4 a.m. show, citing concerns over inadequate intervals between screenings, which could lead to significant crowd mismanagement. The court has taken serious note of these concerns. In fact, megastar Ram Charan in his movie will be seen with Kiara Advani, who last paired up for a film approximately some time back. Exactly 6 years after the last starring in a film as a solo hero, Ram Charan is back with Game Changer, directed by Shankar. My colleague Gautam Shankar joins us on the broadcast to give more details on the story. Well, Gautam, first of all, anything we have heard from the Telangana High Court regarding the petitions which have been filed?
Yes. So the Telangana High Court has agreed to hear a petition regarding the hike in ticket prices for movie Game Changer, which stars Ram Charan. Now, this petition is filed as a lunch motion, which means that it could come up anywhere now between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. So we'll keep a close eye out for that. Now, this petition basically challenges both the price hike of the tickets and also government's decision to allow extra screenings of the movie in the early hours of the morning that took place today. Now, the High Court is very unhappy with the early morning shows. Yesterday, while hearing the case that said that it questioned basically the state government decision to allow extra screenings, and it also cited concerns about crowd control and the impact on the public order as well. So the court has also raised questions about the government's approval of these additional shows. Keep in mind that an agreement was reached between the government and the Telangana film industry that these early morning shows or the benefit shows would not be done, but still it has gone ahead with this decision for Ram Charan's Game Changer. So the question adequately has addressed these potential safety issues as well. And given that these shows have high demand for tickets and potential for overcrowding, the Telangana High Court has taken serious cognizance of this. Now, this petition was filed with a request for an immediate hearing on the matter, particularly the hike in ticket prices as well. So the petitioners have expressed concern over the decision for the hike and also the early morning shows being allowed. So we'll keep an eye out on what the Telangana High Court has to say on this matter today.
Well, Gautam, we are already seeing these visuals coming in from the theatres, and it's absolutely, in fact, the visuals we are playing on our screens right now also. Fans are going gaga over this film. Do you think fans really care about a price hike of the tickets?
They don't. That remains to be that's very evident, isn't it? Because even in the case of Pushpa 2 as well, even though a stampede occurred, it was a very unfortunate incident. Thousands of people had paid thousands of rupees. These ticket shows, even though they are sold for a marginal hike, but outside, these fans have to pay a lot more for this. So the fans don't mind. But the bigger concern also remains that the legality of additional screenings as well, the timing of the shows and the hike in ticket prices. So this case will touch upon crowd control measures and the state government's oversight in basically ensuring safety at these screenings. That will be the important concern of the High Court today, Yash.
Absolutely. Gautam, one more thing. Let's talk about the film now. Any early reactions coming in, what the fans are saying about the film?
Absolutely. I've been closely monitoring the fan reactions. There's been the fans are basically talking about suspense that comes at the end of the first half, which is very thrilling. And then the second half really is better than the first half, is what they're saying. But what it really is a clash of two Telugu titans. Allu Arjun and Ram Charan. Given that the movie Pushpa 2 has also just released 1 month ago, and now this movie, so it will be a massive box office fight that we'll see coming from the Telugu film industry here.
Well, absolutely, Gautam. Thank you so much for all those details. We'll come back to you for more on it. Now, let's see how the early reviewers, like I was talking to to Gautam Shankar as well, have responded to the big release of this year's and what were the hurdles for megastar Ram Charan. My colleague Sakshi brings this detailed report on this.
Game Changer, celebrated director Shankar's debut Telugu film, has released in theatres with a bang, starring Ram Charan and Kiara Advani in the lead roles. But remember the very recent tragic stampede at the Pushpa 2 Sandhya Theatre? Following that incident, the Telangana government has now taken a very serious and stringent approach, refusing to grant permission for the 1 a.m. shows of the film in the state. However, they have approved additional screenings and allowed the ticket price hikes for the film as well. But in contrast to that, the Andhra Pradesh government has given the green light for early shows of the film, including one as early as 1 a.m. In return, they have mandated the screening of advertisements, raising awareness about issues like drugs, narcotics and cybercrime. But despite all of this, 1 a.m. shows have not been permitted. To ensure smooth and safe screenings, theatres have been instructed to fully cooperate with local law enforcement. But on the film's opening day, 6 shows have been allowed, with 5 more added over the next 9 days up until January 19th. And additionally, the government has also approved an early 4 a.m. show. Ticket prices for multiplexes will rise by Rs 150, while single-screen theatres will see an increase of Rs 100 on the first day of release as well. So, it is a big release, but not a smooth one for mega superstar Ram Charan. And also, since we are talking about the movie, how can I not introduce you with the star cast and all the hard work behind this? After a 6-year hiatus from starring as a solo hero, Ram Charan now returns to the silver screen with Game Changer. Directed by the legendary director Shankar, this marks Ram Charan's much anticipated comeback and his first Sankranti release since Vinaya Vidya Rama. He in fact also teamed up once again with his Vinaya Vidya Rama co-star Kiara Advani. The film now promises to be a high-octane commercial entertainer. First reviewers are already calling the film a must-watch cinematic marvel. Backed by producer Dil Raju and Sirish, Game Changer kickstarts 2025 with a bang. Will it be another mass entertainer though? Watch it yourself.
Well, fans are already going gaga. Let's see what transpires within the Telangana High Court. Well, it's time to move on. And there's some updates coming in from the apex court of the country, where the Supreme Court has directed that the notice issued by the Sambhal Nagar Palika regarding the public well near the Sambhal mosque shall not be executed. The bench, comprising of Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Justice Sanjay Kumar, was hearing a petition filed by Sambhal Shahi Jama Masjid Committee challenging a trial court's order on the issue. Senior advocate, in fact, representing the mosque committee, informed the court about the municipal corporation's notice, which referred to the well as Hari Mandir. In fact, the lawyer from the mosque side argued that the well primarily used by the mosque could become a site for religious activities like puja and bathing if notice were enforced. CJI Sanjeev Khanna queried what is the harm in allowing others to use the well. However, Ahmadi contended that the well's proximity to the mosque made it an integral part of the structure, stating that it was half inside, half outside the mosque premises. Advocate Vishnu Shankar Jain, representing the plaintiffs in the trial court suit, countered that the well was outside the mosque premises and should not be included in the scope of special leave petition filed against the trial court's decision. Issuing notice on the interim application filed by the mosque committee, the Supreme Court stayed the implementation of Nagar Palika's notice. The CJI emphasized that the court was keeping a close watch to ensure peace and harmony is maintained. The Shahi Jama Masjid Management Committee had approached the Supreme Court seeking directions to maintain the status quo concerning well located near the mosque entrance. The committee argued the court should prevent any actions regarding the well without proper authorization. The matter is scheduled for its next hearing on February 21st. Well, another update coming in from the Apex Court, where the Supreme Court has stayed proceedings under the show cause notice worth 1.1 lakh crore rupees issued to the online gaming companies by GST authorities until the matter is fully heard and decided upon by the Apex Court. In fact, a two-judge bench heard this very matter and has listed this matter for further hearing in March. This comes as a relief for online gaming companies, including companies like Gamescraft, Game 24/7 and others, as the GST authorities won't be allowed to demand the tax amount from the firms till Supreme Court's final order. Remember, online gaming firms have been grappling over the payment of 28% GST instead of 18% for the period up to October 1st, 2023. While the companies argue that 28% tax is applicable only starting October 1st, the government is of the opinion that the October 1st revision only provided clarity to a law that was already in force. The government's stance is that the demand for tax due is retrospective of its nature. Now, big news coming in from the neighborhood Pakistan, where the ongoing conflict between the Pakistani security forces and the TTP witnessed a major escalation after militant group abducted 18 nuclear scientists from the neighboring country. In fact, and released a video of them held hostage to press Islamabad to meet their demands. Reports suggest that TTP militants have also looted a significant cache of uranium from Pakistan's largest uranium mine. The scientists were working at the Kabul Kale Atomic Energy Mining Project in Lakh, Marwa district in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province when they were kidnapped by some armed men who also set ablaze a staff's vehicle. A video circulated on social media shows a group of employees, reportedly engineers from the Kabul Kale Atomic Energy Mining Project, pleading the Pakistani government to ensure their safety by meeting the demands of the TTP. The TTP, also known as the Pakistani Taliban, has released a video showing the kidnapped nuclear scientist from the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, appealing to the government led by Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif to secure their release by complying with their group's demand. Well, Sandeep Punyathan, my colleague, decodes this situation with Shriya Kundu. Have a listen.
It's a matter of very grave concern. In fact, the entire world right now is possibly watching in horror as we see these reports of 18 Pakistan nuclear technicians that have been kidnapped by the TTP, the Pakistan Taliban. Now, there are 8 nuclear-armed countries in the world, Sri, as we know. There are 5 that are recognized, there are 3 that are not. That's India, Pakistan and North Korea are the 3 countries that possess nuclear weapons outside of the P5 countries. Pakistan is the only country in the world, the only nuclear weapon state, which has got this kind of terrorism. It has a severe internal crisis. It has terror groups running amok. And today they've demonstrated this by actually kidnapping nuclear scientists, nuclear technicians. If you look at it, the iCards of all these technicians have been released, and one of them happens to be a member of the Strategic Plans Division of the Pakistan Army. The SPD, as you know, is the division that was set up about 25 years back to protect Pakistan's nuclear weapons. So that is the irony here, that the very unit that was set up to protect nuclear weapons, that has been compromised, that has been kidnapped. Now look at the implications of this. It's an intelligence windfall for any country that wants to know the state of Pakistan's nuclear weapon programs. These 18 technicians, we are not sure if they're all scientists. Looking at the iCards, it seems that they're more like junior level staff, technicians who assist scientists. But if you interrogate all of them, you will get a very fair picture of the status of Pakistan's nuclear weapons program. So from that perspective alone, it is a big blow for Pakistan's claim to have control over its nuclear assets. Now, very tough questions are going to be raised, as they should be. How is a country that's supposed to have one of the world's largest nuclear arsenals, how does it allow its technicians to be kidnapped at this alarming rate? 18 of them kidnapped in one go by a terrorist organization. And that very clearly tells you that these two aspects are incompatible. You cannot have internal unrest, you can't have armed groups, terrorists running riot, and be a nuclear weapons country at the same time. There is the only country among the 8 nuclear armed countries, and today the snakes are coming home to bite.
Well, concerning situation there panning out in our neighborhood Pakistan. But let's move our focus back to home. And in fact, now Ravichandran Ashwin has sparked controversy, reigniting the language row, noting that Hindi is not the national language of India, but official language. While addressing students at a private college, the retired Indian cricketer asked them if anyone wanted to ask any questions in Hindi in case they are not fluent in English or Tamil. He further mentioned, in Hindi, I thought I should have said this, Hindi is not our national language, it is an official language. While the BJP slammed the retired cricketer for this remark, the DMK backed him. Listen in what Ashwin has to say.
Just going to throw it here. English? Okay. English students in the house, give me a A. Okay. Tamil? Okay. Hindi? வரவேல ஹிந்தி ஓகே எல்லாம் சொல்லலாம்னு நினச்சேன் அது நம்ம நேஷனல் லாங்குவேஜ் இல்லை அது ஒரு அஃபிஷியல் லாங்குவேஜ்னு.
Well, shifting focus back to the national capital, where weeks after a string of bomb hoax triggered public panic at dozens of schools in the national capital, the Delhi police has finally uncovered a meticulous plan by a minor to skip exams at his school. Cops have taken into custody the class 12 student after finding out his role behind the bomb threat that put the entire city administration on alert on several days. As per the details, he had sent bomb threats email to at least 6 times, and in fact, each time marking different school except his own. To avoid suspicion, he always tagged multiple schools on the mail, and in fact, the officials have also maintained that he once sent a mail to 23 schools. Officials said the minor did not want to appear for exams at school and devised a plan to set the stage for bomb threats, which he assumed would disrupt the exams and get those exams cancelled. Facing such frequent fake threats, the Delhi police has also started training teachers and school staff in dealing with such crises. And now, the voice that resonated with the Malayali souls in love, longing, joy and sorrow has fallen silent. The beloved playback singer P. Jayachandran passed away at the age of 81 yesterday. The singer's mortal remains have been brought to his ancestral home. In fact, public is now also paying homage to the singer at a regional theatre from 12 p.m. onwards. In fact, following the public homage in Thrissur, the body will be transported back to his residence in that very area, and in fact then it will be taken to his ancestral home in Paliathu. In fact, another public viewing has been scheduled at the ancestral home from 9 a.m. onwards tomorrow, where family, friends and admirers of the iconic singers are expected to gather to bid a final goodbye. Prime Minister Modi also posted his condolences on platform X, and in fact, and I quote, Shri Jayachandran ji was blessed with legendary voice that conveyed a wide range of emotions. His soulful reticence across various languages will continue to touch hearts for generations to come. Pained by his passing, my thoughts are with his family and admirers in this hour of grief. P. Jayachandran, celebrated for his melodious voice and significant contribution to the Indian music industry, leaves behind a legacy cherished by millions. Kerala and the entire country is paying heartfelt tribute to the beloved artist. Well, my colleague Vivek Narayanan joins us on the broadcast to talk more on this. Vivek, definitely a very sad day, not just for the people of Kerala, but for the entire nation. What's happening there? People must be coming there in a very huge numbers to pay their last respects.
Absolutely. People are coming in large numbers, Jed, in order to pay the last respects at his house in Thrissur. Remember, it's tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock that his cremation is going to happen at his ancestral house. Now, coming back to P. Jayachandran, he's been a legendary singer. His voice was very unique and very melodious, even though he has sung 15,000 songs across Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, and Kannada. Most of his songs, that started from his career, when it began in 1970s onwards, those were all, songs that had stood which stood completely different from his contemporary singers. Remember, he was considered as next to KJ Yeshudas, when Yeshudas has been, a renowned singer who has learned classical music, even though Jayachandran hasn't learned classical music in depth, but some of his songs, his melodious songs in Tamil and Malayalam, will be always remembered. Especially remember, even though he was a singer who started his career in the 70s and 80s, even in 2021-22, when the new generation musicians and lyricists had come up with various tunes and compositions, he has also adapted along with them, which is something very, very rare. His voice had stood apart. And even in this age, he used to come for various, shows, TV shows, and other shows, and he used to take part in various events. And he had a good relationship with artists in different industries, not just in Malayalam but across southern states. Even though he has not sung songs in Hindi, his songs in Tamil, Malayalam, and Telugu is well known. His departure is going to be a huge loss for the music lovers in South, especially in the Malayalam film industry.
Well, absolutely. And like you mentioned, he didn't only produce music in one language, but in multiple languages. And this is one thing for a lot of young talent to actually learn from, that don't refrain yourself to just one language. And in fact, he is someone who will be looked by a lot of young artists also.
Absolutely, he's a person who's been looked up by a lot of young artists, young singers. Two of the singers whom I personally spoke to, one is Biju Narayanan and also Afsal, said that they used to learn a lot from his kind of singing, his variations in his chords, and also his, the kind of songs he chooses is something very, very different. He doesn't sing, in many Malayalam films like Yeshudas or M.G. Shrikumar, but the kind of songs he chooses is something very different, very distinct, and that's the reason why he's seen. He has a different class, and he's been observed and even adored by most of the young singers, especially in this new age, in this generation, especially in 2022-23. Many singers, especially Afsal, Biju Naran, many whom I spoke to, say that his songs will always be remembered. He has sung 15,000 songs, and you can imagine 15,000 songs in a career. That is huge. And most of his songs were in Malayalam. And, Ilayaraja used to say that, one of his songs, which has been, when that song used to be played in a theater, in a takis, in Kambam, in district in Tamil Nadu, there was an instance, where he said that herds of elephants used to come from the forest and listen to these songs. And once the song is over, they used to go back. So you can imagine the magic in his voice. And that magic is something which the music lovers, not just the musicians, but also ordinary people like you and me, will be missing from here on.
Absolutely, Vivek. Now, let's also talk about how he has changed the entire in the music industry, not only in Kerala but across the country. Do talk about, if you can, about some of his notable works.
His notable works basically are, in the Malayalam film industry. There are a lot of, songs, especially in the 70s and 80s. There are films like Bharatam, there are films like His Highness Abdullah, and many cinemas. But more than his cinema songs, his devotional songs, especially devotional Christian devotional songs and Hindu devotional songs, was something that always had kept apart. And there is a movie called 1983, which was released in 2021. And believe me, he was at the age of 76 at that point of time, and he had been suffering from various ailments. And the kind of songs which he had sung in that movie. Now, I'm just taking one particular movie here, and these songs were the biggest hit of those years. And he sung with P. Sushila, who's almost his age. And these songs in 1983, which is a very recent movie, and he's singing that song at the age of 76, has something that has even completely shocked the entire music industry. So that is a kind of range which P. Jayachandran has, that even at this age, his melodious voice, his beautiful voice was able to cope up with those
Absolutely.
of the youngsters, especially of the young actors. So that is the reason why P. Jayachandran always stood apart from his contemporary singers.
Well, absolutely, he stood apart from the contemporary singers. And thank you so much, Vivek, for talking about his legacy and the kind of work he leaves behind. Well, time for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. News and update continues on the other side.